I grew up watching my mother hold our family together with trembling hands. She was the quiet type, the kind who would rather suffer in silence than ask for help. When my father left her for another woman, he didn't just break her heart, he broke her dignity. My uncles sided with him. They said, "She's too emotional, too weak. That's why he left." They said it right in front of her, as if she wasn't a person but a mistake they were analyzing. My mother never fought back. She just went silent. She worked as a cleaner, sometimes washing clothes for people who once called her family. And when I told her, "Mama, let's move away," she said, "No, my son. This is my home. Even if they throw stones, I'll plant flowers where they fall." Years later, my father got sick. Suddenly, everyone remembered my mother. The same family that mocked her came begging for her help, because she was the only one who knew how to take care of him. And she did. She fed him, cleaned him, prayed for him. Not because he deserved it, but because her heart was too kind to hold hate. But when he passed away, my uncles changed overnight. They gathered like vultures, fighting over his properties. And when my mother asked what belonged to her, they laughed again. "What's yours? You were just a wife, not an owner," one uncle said, waving the property papers in her face. They forced her out of the house she had lived in for 30 years. That night, I found her sitting under the rain behind a neighbor's shed, crying into her knees. Her clothes soaked, her voice shaking. And all she said was, "Why is kindness always punished in this family?" I swore that night I would never forget those words. We moved into a small rented room in town. My mother never complained once, but she stopped smiling completely. I worked and saved every penny I could. When I finally got a good job abroad, the first thing I did was buy her a small but beautiful house. Far from that village, far from those people. And for the first time in years, she smiled again. Her laughter sounded different, like peace had found her again. But life has a way of returning to those who think they're untouchable. One by one, my uncles lost everything. The one who mocked her the most was caught in a land dispute, the land he stole from her. He lost it all in court. Another had his own children abandon him when he fell sick, the same way he watched my father abandon my mother. Even my father's new wife was thrown out of the same house she once laughed from. And every time I heard the news, my mother would just sigh and say, "God doesn't need witnesses to do justice, my son." Years passed. My mother grew older and weaker. One day I got a call. One of my uncles was at her gate. He had come to beg. His own children had left him, his wife had died, and he had nowhere else to go. I watched from the window as he knelt before her. Tears filled his eyes. He said, "Sister, forgive me. I was foolish." My mother, with her frail voice, said something I will never forget. "I forgave you the day you laughed at my tears, because I knew life would silence your laughter before mine." She gave him food, a bed, and comfort, the same kindness he once threw away. And that night he cried, not because of hunger but because he had finally tasted the pain he caused. A few months later, my mother passed peacefully in her sleep. She left behind no riches, no revenge, only peace. But the strange thing is, her funeral was full. Every person who ever mocked her came not to gossip, but to weep. Because by the time karma finished teaching its lessons, there was nothing left for them to laugh about. Sometimes the loudest voice in life isn't anger or revenge. It's the quiet justice that life brings on its own time. And if there's one thing I learned from my mother's tears, it's this. Never laugh at another person's pain. Because one day, their tears might become the rain that waters your own regret. If this story touched you, please leave a like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our stories. Thanks for watching.